What's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we're continuing work on our 24 Hours of Lemons BMW Chrysler Bentley race car. This is a 2-week thrash project to turn from a Bentley and a BMW into a Bentley Chrysler BMW $500 race car, utilizing the best loopholes in the game. In the last episode, we've got our BMW torn down, the Bentley torn down, Bentley front end on the BMW, and a full race spec roll cage built into the BMW. In today's episode, we're going to continue with the Bentley body swap, getting the Bentley body parts onto the BMW, and we're going to swap out some turbos, and we're going to install a lot more race stuff. Stay tuned! Oscar is ready to get started. He's got our turbos right here. So we pushed a lot of horsepower through this car. We pushed like 400 horsepower to the wheels out of this inline six, and it has 150,000 miles. And what that resulted in is our turbos smoking a lot, which is a sign of blown seals within the turbo and the oil leaking out of the oiling system in the turbo and eventually making it out your exhaust. So we know we need to replace these turbos because we do want to race this thing, and when you race it and you race it really hard, you could completely waste that seal and then you'll be leaking too much oil to continue racing. So we had to replace them. We bought some nice used ones off a 70,000 mile car. We've got a gasket kit that just got delivered today, I hope, or else we're not doing this whole job today.
Are you using these old ones?
No, that ain't happening. So Oscar's going to be jumping into that side of the world. Zane's helping me mount the front impact bar right now, and I'm going to start mocking up the back bumper and looking at the back bumper, trunk lid, and tail lights. In case you missed why we're doing this craziness, well, 24 Hour Lemons is in about a week, and we're racing against Team Chris Fix. Last year, our car was significantly slower than Chris's car. I really didn't like seeing him just walk away from us on the racetrack. We still got very, very close to tying him. If we would have had, communication systems and other things like that, we would have done really well, at least tying as many laps as they did. This year, we're out for blood. I wanted to make sure that we brought a faster car. The way to do that, if you want to have a really fast car and stick within the rules of Lemons, is to use one of their loopholes. They have a loophole that says that any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit on it is exempt from the budget. I can just spend as much money as I want on my race car. Now, I don't have any Chrysler products laying around. I did have this BMW laying around. It was literally in my backyard for a few years, hasn't been used. So we're recycling. We like to stay green here. And I'll show you in today's episode how we are going to convert this into a Chrysler as well. A lot of work to be done, But this is also, we can hit that loophole and within the rules of Lemons, have an upper hand on Chris Fix without cheating. But while cheating, because it's Lemons, you gotta cheat a little bit. The only thing we're missing here is tons of alcohol. We've been laying off the sauce because it hinders productivity and we have an insanely tight deadline, but I mean, this is just missing like a few 12 packs of Truly and I think we'd be right. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna get on the back end. Now that I'm on the back end, I'm gonna get to work on the back end. I know what you're thinking. It looks like a Maybach. We nailed the wrong exotic. We got stuff zip tied and set into place. Now I got to get it race ready in there. I mean, this bumper's, we're missing a section here. Got the Oscar staying back. I saw the comments in the last episode and I wanted to kind of address the situation of like, it does seem like we're kind of ruining two cars. I think the way you got to look at it is we're taking two cars that were otherwise not going to be used. These Bentley body parts, as you can see, most of them are broken in half. Taillights are full of salt water. Trunk we cut in half twice. The hood's really the only whole part there at all, and that's why I didn't do anything bad with the hood. And this Beamer, I mean, yes, we could have sold it or we could have given it away, but it just was 100% not being used. It had sat for years. So we just want to use it. We want to get in a situation where we can use it and have fun with it. And it's going to bring us a lot of joy and it's going to get a ton of track time and hopefully it's going to do well. So I hope you can kind of see it from my point of view. Like we could have left the Beamer sitting in my backyard and went out and bought yet another car, like another BMW or whatever. That would have made my third E92. And it's just like, for what? Really? This car, although it was cool, it was meant to be Kyle's car. He did not use it. A lot of people have been commenting too, like, where's Kyle? Kyle took another job. He's working another job, at least for right now. I guess one thing that I've never really explained to you guys is where everybody kind of came from. Like, Kyle still lives in my house. Kyle and Zane and I, we've been friends for over the last 20 years. So we've known each other for a really, really, really long time. So, you know, like, Kyle may take another job, he may go do other things, shit, he may start a career as a lawyer, but we're always gonna be friends and he'll always be around and spend time on the channel. But that aside, this Beamer really wasn't being used, and so, sacrifice. Okay guys, it's the next day. I got an update for you. So let's talk about rear bumper. We've got all the supports welded in. We've got the kind of the fill plate there, and that's gonna get riveted in along the outside. Coming across here, there's more things that attach it like that, and then one for the other side. Also, Zane went ahead and did the stitching to get, this piece was ripped off, completely ripped off of the car, I don't know, during the flood or whatever from the Bentley. So we got that all stitched on there. It's starting to look good. Hood, that's not a hood. Trunk lid, the boot, is chilling for right now. It's just resting there. Waiting to get some hardware, and I will have to firmly attach that. It's gonna be a tricky one. On the turbo side of the world, Oscar is in denial of how many hours it's been. It's been about 9 hours. We're just saying this to let you guys know back home. Oscar is like a master mechanic, and this is a really, really hard job. And it takes a lot of time. So he's about 9 hours in, and we're about to get the turbos out. Now that I jinxed him, it's gonna be another 13 or so, and we'll have the turbos out. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the next project, which is we need this car to be black. This is a purely cosmetic thing, but this is gonna be fun. So the trunk lid, the rear bumper, all the Bentley parts are obviously black, and we want the rest of the car to match it, so it'll kind of complete the theme. The roof, luckily, is already black, so that's good. So I just got to get the sides black. We went ahead and bought some vinyl wrap. I am a masterful vinyl wrapper, and by that I mean one time I vinyl wrapped a panel. And now I'm going to bust out this whole car in record time. Before we get down to work, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Now, a lot of you guys that have watched the show for a long time know that I have a background in software engineering. That was my career before I started fiddling with cars on YouTube. And my years in software engineering taught me just how vulnerable people are when they're on public networks, private networks, and sending non-encrypted data online. And that's one of the reasons I love using a VPN. It encrypts my information, so then when it's transferred over the internet, nobody can see what I'm doing, including my ISP right here at home. I kind of have a nosy ISP that doesn't want me to go to certain sites, and I don't like that. Another reason I use NordVPN. NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the planet, so your data transfer speeds are going to be lightning quick. And you can stay safe with their malware threat protection, and you can do all sorts of other great stuff too. Like, you would be so surprised how much more content your favorite streaming platform has when you virtually travel to a different country, which you can do with NordVPN. One of the things I love about NordVPN is very privacy oriented. So they don't track or share what you do online. Your data is always heavily encrypted, and one account protects up to 6 different devices. And if you need any help working it, they have 24/7 customer support and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So protect your data, protect your privacy, protect your browsing, protect your shopping, not just from threats while traveling around, but also from your own internet service provider. They are so annoying, and I think we all agree on that. So check out NordVPN. It is the best. The link is at the top of my description, or you can very simply go to nordvpn.com/BisForBuild. It's on the screen right here. And when you hit that link at the top of my description, you're going to get an exclusive deal, and it's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. So go check it out, guys. Huge thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode. Let's get back to it. All right, guys, it's the next day at about 6:30 p.m. That side of the car is wrapped. The other side of the car is mostly wrapped. And Oscar is wrapped up with the turbos. So we did find out that that's like what, a 20-something hour job at a dealership. So it's a really long job. Oscar clocked in about exactly BMW technician time. Great job.
45 hours?
No. Let's see if they work. So it's time to give it a test and fire it up. Sounds like shit. Smoke. Oh yeah, that's also our first start since we did the full roll cage, so success. We didn't burn through too much wiring. Sounds all right, but we need to take it for a test drive to learn anything for real. So we've got the rest of tonight and we've got through tomorrow, and that's it. That's the deadline. The car gets picked up the next morning. So we're probably gonna wrap up a few more things and then we need to take this thing for a test drive. I'm at the point where I barely know what we're doing anymore. We're just going through the list. All right, we successfully did stuff and we're ready to do more stuff. That is what we do at BS for Build. So we finished wrapping, cool. Now moving on, we've got the kill switch. A little bit of bracketing has been made. That's gonna get welded in right about there. And we gotta run the wires. We got it hooked up in the back. We're doing a massive solenoid on the ground so we can have a disconnect closer to the battery. That is the safest way to do it rather than running another set of lines up to the front. So that's gonna get finalized shortly and we'll be testing it out tonight. Now that we've got the cage in, Oscar is working on finalizing seat positioning, and then once we get the seat in, we know exactly where it's going to be. We're going to go ahead and weld the harness bar in, and that runs horizontally behind the seat at an equal or 15-degree downward tilt behind the seat across there, so the harnesses run through there and through the seat and over your shoulders. I am going to be working on mounting our very cut up Bentley Continental GT trunk onto our BMW Chrysler thing. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day and it is the last day. We got a lot of great stuff done last night. The trunk lid is officially mounted. I slapped it and said that ain't going nowhere, so that ain't going nowhere. Oscar is working on harness bars. Actually, Oscar just finished the harness bar that we talked about earlier, and now we're drilling the holes in the floor. So for the harnesses for your seat, it's a 5-point harness. 2 go back there, 2 go in the floor, and 1 goes for the crotch, like right in the middle. So there'll be 3 harnessing points. Oscar's gonna go ahead and drill those out, and then we use spreader plates to spread the force. Let me show you. So these are what the spreader plates look like, and you just imagine you have 1 on the top side of the car and 1 on the bottom side of the car, and it helps kind of diffuse that. If you just put a bolt straight through it, if you got in a wreck, the bolt could just like rip out. So this would mean that a lot more sheet metal has to rip out. So yeah, 1 goes on the top and 1 goes on the bottom for each one of these. And Oscar's gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're working on the seat back support. So there's a bar that comes down. Sorry, this camera's autofocus is crazy. Bar that comes down, and then it comes out to support the back of the seat. Those are needed when your seat gets too far away at any point from your back bars. That way, if you get rear-ended really hard, your seat will flex into that rather than breaking off. So we got that guy coming in, and then we're gonna be painting the cage, which is huge. Paint the cage, put the harnesses on, and we're going for a test drive. So that's the main goal, is we want to be test driving as fast as we can this morning. Not driving as fast as we can, but on the road as soon as we can be. And then Zane and I are working on mounting the Bentley Continental GT front impact bar onto the 3 Series. So we've got some 1/4 inch thick steel adapter plates that we're going to be welding into the frame rails and getting that bad boy on there. All right, it is test drive time. We're gonna be testing out things like wheel clearance for our turnability. I made a chop, we made more room. We're gonna test all the new turbo stuff to make sure that it's making boost and doing well. Oscar's got the seat in, the harness in, the seat back brace in, all that good stuff. Safety-wise, kill switches in. We should be good to go. Oscar is gonna pilot the test drive. He's gonna let us know what he thinks. We're back from the test drive. It went phenomenally. The car's running really well. We managed to fit the tire. Now's as good a time as any to mention that Koenig Wheels hooks us up with our wheels. We got a new set of wheels for this build as well. These actually we haven't even driven on either. These are the Countergrams, and we got some hexaforms that you'll see in the next episode. And then Nitto tires are our boys and hook us up hugely. So there's going to be a link in the description. Big thanks to both of those companies for supporting us, especially with these really silly endeavors. We really appreciate it. Without sponsors like this, it seriously just wouldn't even be possible. So it's so cool. We're running the Nitto G2s on here. That's our kind of starting set. And then we also have a full set of NT01s. And well, here, I'll just show you. That's our hexaform in bronze. The theme for this car is going to be black and bronze. So that's what we're running on for tires. And the G2 is basically a racing slick. It's a DOT approved, like pretty much racing slick. And then Koenig wheels are a super economical way to have a really good quality build, lightweight wheel that looks good and performs extremely well. The amount of people that run these on time attack cars, drift cars, all sorts of other cars, they are great. So big thanks to both of those guys. This is probably when we go onto the tow truck, this is what we're gonna be getting it on the tow truck with. No rubbing, great looking fitment, so we're good there. Anyways, jumping into this, I'm working on the comms system. This is a big upgrade that we did not have last year racing against Chris Fix. We will be able to talk to our pits and schedule our driver changes. So I'm gonna get the comms system set up and the guys are going to paint the roll cage. Got the cage painted. It is looking great. We moved on to fire suppression. We got a few big safety things left. Fire suppression is the biggest. Actually, I think that's the last really big thing we got left to do. So we're working on fire suppression. We've got it down through there, up into here, and we're into the engine bay. And we decided to look at something a little bit more fun. Now, I'm gonna tell you exactly how this car, or how we're using the Chrysler with a Bentley body kit Loophole in a little bit. But one of our just fun moves is I went and bought a Chrysler engine cover. Unfortunately, not a lot of Chrysler products say Chrysler on them. I wonder why. So it just says V6 but it is from a Chrysler. So we're gonna give it a few choppy chops and see if we can fit it on over the engine bay, just to cover up a little bit of the twin turbo-age. Like, not just that the car is twin turbo, but that it's a modified twin turbo really doesn't look good. So we're gonna try and be covering up this area right here. Well, gentlemen, it is 4 a.m. We don't know what time the tow truck's coming, so they could be here in 4 hours, which scares the hell out of me. If they do, I have a game plan. I'm going to do what normally happens when tow trucks come and not be awake until noon. So I'll just shut the door, we'll keep working on the car and be like, you didn't tell me when you were coming. Well, you'll find out sometime when the tow truck comes, because that's when the tow truck will come. Anyways, we're gonna keep working. It's 4 a.m. Here's what we did. Frickin' full-on rebranding here. Chrysler, baby, with a Chrysler engine cover. Yes, it's crooked, but it covers the turbo stuff, and of course they're gonna know it's a BMW, but Lemons is all about a good laugh, not taking anything too seriously. And I still have my ace up my sleeve that I will show you before the end of this episode that gets us in the loophole without breaking any rules. So that's done. Fire suppression system is fully done. If you guys want to see what that kind of looks like, you pull that handle in case of a fire, and then that guy blasts through all the lines. There's 4 lines that or 4 nozzles that spray in the inside and 4 that spray in the engine bay. This is about a $400 system, and it could save you real big. Highly recommended if you have any like dedicated track cars. But for Lemons, it's a requirement. Zane's currently working on getting a coat of paint on the back end. It's going really good. That way I can get the taillights in. I've been working on retrofitting the taillights. So that's looking great. The trunk lid stuff is all done too, so that's good. I'm really hoping we're gonna have time to get the giant spoiler, because I love that thing. And Oscar and I, what is she looking for?
We also did the kill switch.
Yeah, the kill switch, we did it before, it didn't work. We redid it, that didn't work. We redid it again, that didn't work. And then we redid it again and we made it work. All right, we're gonna lower the car down. We're gonna jump into the front end. Oscar and I are gonna put the fenders on, the hood on, and then we're gonna mount the headlights. We unswampified the headlights. There were actually crustaceans growing within these headlights. We washed them out, no joke, filled them with water, shook them out, and then dumped them back out, and that's about as clean as they get. So they're headlights, and we gotta mount them babies up, and then what's left of our front bumper. Zane did a little drift stitching here to get most of our pieces stuck back together. So it's holding true there, and then we're gonna have to build something here. And then we'll have a front bumper. Here we go. So we got the front end mocked up, and we had this big discussion. We're trying to decide, do we want to go headlight or no headlight? No headlight, I think, makes it look really mean, like a pirate or something. I don't know. It's really cool. But when you go to the side here, it doesn't look as good. But no headlight definitely looks drift missile-y, and I like the void. I definitely really, really like the look. But we decided we'll just go for the headlight, and if we want to have the darker look, we could always smoke the headlights later. So Oscar is going to start on mounting the headlights. The bumper's still not mounted yet. Everything else here is mounted except for the headlight. So Oscar's going to start mounting the headlights, and I'm going to go mount and wire the taillights. Oscar's got the headlights brackets built, and they are welded in, so the headlights are in there well, and he started doing a little bit more final touch on the bumper repair. You can see that he actually found a piece, like a missing piece was somewhere, I think in the back of my Range Rover, and he found this, which is awesome. And then now we have this empty space right here, and he's been kind of templating out where he wants to cut a piece of sheet metal that we will also be zip tying in. But this bumper is actually, I'm really liking how much of it we've found, and we're, you know, bringing it back together to salvage. So that's a big win. You probably saw that we got the taillights wired up, so that's great. I need to put a few more supporting brackets in there. These Bentley taillights are super, super weird how they're built. So I got to put a few more like supporting straps to just really make sure that they don't come out on the track, and then we're gonna be good there. It looks like a car. I dare say it looks like a Bentley too. We've pulled it off. I'm so happy about this. Front bumper was an absolute mess. It was like 15 pieces before we got started, and it's one piece now. It's looking really, really good. Headlights are in. Now this was I mean, that got just hit in the flood somehow. So it's rougher, but that's fine. This is a race car. This is so cool that we were able to basically recycle a lot of these parts. And to do this, we didn't have to damage any of the good parts like the hood and this fender right here. We didn't have to do anything weird to them. And we've got them in the car. It's looking awesome. As we come around here, we've got our back end. And if you guys don't remember, or you didn't see the episode, when we first got the Bentley, we had to get into the trunk. And so first we cut this giant thing, because we found out the trunks were like the cheapest part on eBay. So we cut the whole trunk, and then that didn't get us in. So then we cut this, and there's a latch under there to get at it. So we zip tied it back on, and this leads into the pièce de résistance of how this works. I told you guys I would explain the Chrysler loophole, the Bentley, Chrysler, BMW loophole. Let me pop the hood. I got it open on my phone here so I can remember. Bring any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit on it. So I could have went out and bought like a freaking very, very expensive Chrysler, but we had this BMW. It wasn't being used. I really wanted to kind of bring it back to life for another purpose. But I was like, how are we gonna figure out this Chrysler thing? But then bring any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit on it. So here's what we did. This is genius. We're like loopholing the loophole. I got on eBay and bought like 38 Chrysler center caps. And every spot that the Bentley body kit is mounted, it is mounted to a Chrysler product, fulfilling the requirements of bring any Chrysler product with a Bentley body kit mounted to it. They didn't say that that Chrysler product couldn't then be mounted to a BMW product. Or at least I frickin' hope so. And then we're just doing the fun gags with putting it here, and you know where we got to put the last one. Let's get this fixed up real quick. There we go. Chrysler-fied. I don't think we're going to trick the judges into thinking it's actually a Chrysler. I'm just really hoping that they will see our ingenuity, our loopholing the loophole as comical, and all the hard work we put in, and appreciate it. The goal is no penalty laps. And you will find out how that goes in the next episode. This thing ships off tomorrow, heading over to New Jersey to race the 24 Hours of Lemons at New Jersey Motorsports Park. If you want to come say hi, I'll actually be there this year, not back home doing cancer treatment. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you guys on race day. Peace! Come on.